12.1 Parallel lines and transversals. When we talk about lines, there are three sets that we talk about. The first one being parallel lines. Those are lines in the same plane that don't intersect, and they are indicated by this little arrow on both lines. The second type are perpendicular lines, and those are lines that intersect at right angles. And we can tell that this is a right angle with the red square there. And the third type we talk about are transversals. Those are lines that intersect two or more lines, and it creates a whole bunch of congruent angles. So here we have a transversal and we have two parallel lines. Remember, the transversal intersects two or more lines and it creates congruent angles. We call those congruent angles corresponding angles. So the green one and the green one, those are both congruent and corresponding, as well as the blue, the red, and the purple. So they're corresponding, meaning they are congruent. So we can use our knowledge to help us find angle measures. So if we were to look at this picture here, we see that we have 110 degrees here and angle 1 and 2. They want us to find angle 1. Well, we know that angle 1 and 110 are corresponding angles because they are created by a transversal intersecting two parallel lines. That means angle 1 is 110 degrees. It is the same as this one here. Now, angle 2 and angle 1 lie on a straight line, so they are supplementary angles, meaning that angle 1 plus angle 2 has to equal 180 degrees. So, if we have and know that angle 1 is 110, and we have to add it to angle 2 to get 180, then that makes that angle 2 must be 70 degrees. Okay, time for you to write in your notes. On the top section, there are 3 fill in the blanks. Okay, now we can talk about using our corresponding angles to help us find angle measures like we did right before we wrote our notes. So in this one, angle 1 and 75 degrees, those are vertical angles, meaning angle 1 is the same as 75 degrees. Now, angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary angles, so together they have to add up to be 180 degrees. So angle 1 plus angle 2 has to be 180. We know angle 1 is 75. That means then that angle 2 has to be 105 degrees. Okay, now 105 degrees. Now, to find angle 3, we could also use our knowledge of supplementary angles or vertical angles. 2 and 3 are vertical angles. That means 3 must also be 105 degrees. Now, looking at this other set over here, we know that 1 and 4 are corresponding angles, 2 and 5 are corresponding angles, 75 degrees and 6 are corresponding angles, and 3 and 7. So we can easily tell then that angle 5 is 105, angle 6 is 75 degrees, angle 4 is 75 degrees, and angle 7 is 105 degrees. Now, when we talk about these angles, we can classify them as interior or exterior angles. The interior angles are the ones between the two parallel lines. The exterior angles are the angles outside of the parallel lines. Now, to add another naming convention for our angles, so remember, inside the parallel lines are considered interior and outside are considered exterior. But we also can call them alternate interior angles. That means these red ones here, they're interior because they're inside the parallel lines, and we call them alternate because they are on the opposite sides of the transversal. So alternate means opposite side of the transversal. And then interior and exterior, we know, mean within or outside the parallel lines. Okay, these alternate angles, either interior or exterior, are congruent, meaning they have the exact same measure. If we put this one up here, we made this one purple, and we put it up here because we know those are corresponding angles. We can see now that the red one and the purple one, they are what? They are vertical angles, meaning the purple one and the red one are the same. And that's how we know that they are congruent. So we can use our knowledge of lines and angles to identify angle relationships. Here we have a picture of a map, and there are 8 different angles. Now, the relationship between angle 3 and angle 6, well, here is angle 3, and here is angle 6. They are exterior angles, and they are also on opposite sides of the transversal, so they are alternate exterior angles. And being alternate exterior angles, we know then that they are congruent. Okay, now angle 2 and angle 7, angle 2 and angle 7, we know those are interior because they're within the 2 parallel lines. We know they're alternate because they're on opposite sides of the transversal. So that must mean that they are also congruent or the same measure. So if angle 4 is 84 degrees, what is angle 3? Well, again, we can use our supplementary knowledge, right? So we do 180 minus 84, and that would then be 96 degrees. Okay, time for you to finish writing in your notes. You can fill in the blanks about interior, exterior, and alternate angles. And now time to do 2 practice problems. Okay, some little hints on practice problems. Find the value of angle 2. Okay, so when we look at this one, we know that angle 1 and angle 2 both add up to be what? 180 degrees. We know that angle 1 and 63 degrees, those are corresponding angles. And corresponding angles are equal. So we know angle 1 is then 63 degrees. So now you can find angle 2. Okay, some hints on practice problem number 2. We need to use this figure to find all 7 angles. Now remember, this set here is exactly the same as this set here. So we can focus on angles 1, 2, 3, and the 59 degrees, and we should be able to easily find those ones. Okay, but let's try to find 1, 2, and 3. So for 1 and for 2, we could see that 59 degrees and angle 2, they're vertical angles, meaning they must be equal. Okay, angle 1 and 59 degrees, those are supplementary angles, meaning they have to add up to 180 degrees. Okay, again, angle 3 and the 59 degrees, those are also supplementary, so they have to add up to 180 degrees. Or if you have found angle 1, you know that angle 1 and angle 3 are vertical angles. So you should be able to find all of those. And then likewise, these ones as well, since they are just the same as those. And that is the end of 12.1.